We will now call the January 16th, 2020 committee meeting to order. Agenda changes. I would like to move number 7 in between number 10 and 11.
I would like to ask that if we feel that item number 10 is, we need extra time, that we reserve the right, can we move that? Like if we're not finished, and so we're not rushed at the end, if we need to finish at the end of the board meeting, we just don't want to be rushed.
But you can't call a committee of the or a
No.
closed session if it's not on there.
So I guess I'm not really sure what to do. I just don't want to be rushed. I think that's fair to you and fair to, you know.
We can always bring it up at another time, I suppose.
If we aren't finished, that we could reconvene at a
Absolutely.
different time.
We're fairly prepared on the rest of the committee of the whole. A lot of it's for discussionary. Carl's got a lot of the evidence in front of you, so I think we'll be okay.
I mean, I'm hopeful we don't, but
Yeah,
if
and I
we do.
have handouts for my review that I would give to you also too.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Okay, then we'll move to number 3, citizen reimbursement request.
If you look on the last page of the handout, the memo I handed out, you'll see well, basically it's a copy of an email from Mike Mishker. What happened is the village has had numerous lateral failures in their neighborhood, and they're at the bottom of the hill, and the water's been somehow migrating, getting in their sump pump. So their sump pump has been running excessively. Again, through no fault of their own, but also there's really no liability on the village. I'm not going to tell you what to do one way or another, but they are looking for some assistance, and what they came back with was complete replacement of their entire sump pump system.
I was going around getting signatures, and I had no idea that that was who the citizen was, and I was standing in their doorway. Their sump pump ran the entire, I actually asked them, what is that noise? And they said, funny you mentioned that, that's our sump pump.
So it's still running,
It's constant, and I
Okay.
was there.
But there's no more leak, right?
but there's no more leak. 'Cause we
Yeah.
fixed it
Well,
over a
no,
month
this
ago.
was, this would have been like January 2nd,
It was fixed prior to the holidays.
Yeah, fire all of it.
constant.
Okay, so.
So maybe there's another leak, I
It's
don't
just,
know.
they're in a bad spot, and the ledge rock
It's
dumps
ledge
out by
rock.
their basement.
And you can hear it just standing in their doorway.
Again, I said all you can do is ask, and, you know, and that's what they're doing, they're asking for, looks like $890 plus tax. But I don't know, I don't feel that we're that liable for anything.
Do they have any, and I know it's hard to track down my monthly, like, electric bill for what's
No.
running or anything like that, or timing, or,
It's hard to say with the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, I would imagine.
You know, I don't want to dwell on this too long, but if part of it is our problem because of the lateral, would you agree to that?
yeah.
Okay, so why don't we split the bill?
Are we setting a precedent by doing that?
No, I don't think so, only because they had an issue because of what happened with the laterals.
So it's our equipment that is leaking.
But we're also, so you just said that they are still having their sump pump run all the
Yeah.
time, even though there's no more, so.
The other question that I have is, and this is your decision, however, nothing is broken. You don't know if there was ever wear and tear put onto the system.
So,
They're asking for a complete replacement of the system. The only part that is actually functioning in this mechanism is the submersible pump. I had that replaced about 2 years ago. That's a $200 part. You know, they're asking for an $800 system, which includes the battery backup, the plumbing, the piping, the cap. They're asking for the full meal deal, a complete rework of the system. So it's your decision to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the working parts, we're not, the piping is probably gonna.
Exactly. I guess if her system would have failed and there would have been damage in her basement, it would have been a different story. However, we don't know if we caused any wear and tear. These are made to work. These pumps are made to work. It's a submersible pump. It's made to put in water. And I guess what Julia brought to our attention is that it's still running.
But again,
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what day I was there. It was right at the New Year. Then the
Regardless,
question
it
is,
was fixed prior to the holidays, Julia.
so that would explain the, what did I see? There was gravel.
Yeah,
That
there
was a
hole
repair.
in the road up the street. 3 to be exact. This was the third one in the neighborhood. I think like David said, you know, I was thinking gift card or something, not a complete system. Again, that's up to, you know, it's like getting a flat and getting a new car.
Yeah.
Typically, I have, for some pump at Menards or somebody would be probably anywhere between 125 to 150.
Yeah.
How much?
125 to 150 for a half horse.
Yeah, half horse pump.
Yeah.
Are we sure there's no other leaks anywhere?
There may be in the future. I mean, I don't see why there wouldn't be. There's been 3 already.
Yeah.
So it's likely gonna happen again.
We've also had numerous residents in the village with water in basements that have never had water in basements. We've done some research on it, looking around.
Yeah.
There have been people that you would not expect water to be in their basements, they have water. The water table's high. We're 10 inches north of where we were last year. It's just,
I get it, I
Yeah.
just, yeah.
The problem is, you know, like
We don't
David
have
said, where do you stop?
We don't need them, so that's my point.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think we
Just high enough.
know these people. We feel bad for them, but you know, where do you stop? You know, we've got water coming in the basement here next door, all over town.
I feel bad, we don't even have a sump pump, we don't need one where we are, I don't,
You probably let it go on the sanitary.
no, we don't have a sump pump, but I mean, I just know.
I'm not making any recommendations, I don't think we should buy a complete system or even go halfway.
Have they ever had to replace their system because of this? I guess that's the question. Like, so it works now, what they've got, but have they had to recently replace it?
No,
They're
claiming
just looking for-
they're looking for the wear and tear to replace it. So they're saying that, how do you gauge that, Julie?
The excessive,
This is-
yeah.
Yeah, just curious if, you know, if they
Yeah.
said that it had been repaired.
However, the village board decides, there is a letter D on, going into the village board meeting to take action on it. So if you have a recommendation in the committee of the whole, we could take action then in the village board meeting as well.
Pumps do burn out. I've replaced them in the past. What if we just give them $150?
I would say 150 or 175 because definitely the pumps are designed, they only go so many hours
Yeah.
pumping.
Right,
I think that'd be fair, 150 for a pump, 25 to put it in.
and let them put it in.
Yeah.
It's easy to replace.
Yeah. Especially if they have a working unit, pay that in cash rather than reimbursement.
I don't see, they're trying to upgrade the system with this,
So you're saying 150?
yeah,
Like, do you know how
that's my
much?
recommendation.
All right.
Yeah.
At least, you know, at least we're doing something,
Yeah.
because they know we had an issue. We admit we had an issue.
Yeah, like I say, I was thinking 150 plus 25 to put it in, so we're.
They should be able to just disconnect that flow,
Well,
or that back
Yeah,
check
Mike
valve.
might not be, Mike might have to pay somebody to do it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
All right,
shall
I'll
we
do it
move
for
on
10 bucks.
and discuss it in the board meeting
Yes.
further?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, number 4, capital improvement plan.
I passed out the latest iteration of our capital improvement plan. This is from 2021 through 2025. What it does is, you know, this year, due to the budget and, you know, freeing up some debt, we were able to do, well, we're gonna be able to do quite a bit of work this year. Well, next year, it really starts out with a bang. From 2021 through post bypass, we're gonna be able to do a lot of work in the village that we haven't been able to do in the past. And if you'll notice, up in each left, well, on the very back, and you're more than welcome, if you've got ideas for projects or whatever, just get back to David or I, or if they're police related, Chris. But in the back under the project timeline, again, this is not written in stone. When it comes time to budget season, we'll finalize this kind of stuff. You know, something might get pushed back, something might get pushed forward, but we try to plan for the future as best we can. 2021, you know, we're looking at, what do we got for a number there? I might have it over. $313,000 in capital. That's, and that's keeping debt and the taxes the same or lower. So we're in good shape and we're getting there. And you can see some of the items we're looking at doing. You know, continuing with street maintenance, you know, fishing piers, SUVs, you know, building construction, water mains.
Actually, I was looking for fishing pier. Is there a fishing pier for the Veterans Park in here at all, or?
2021.
Maybe I'm missing it.
2021,
Okay.
yeah. It's the first one.
It's because it's right on top, right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, gazebos, a future projects capital reserve that can be used for whatever we want. The fingerprint mobile biometric ID scanner. We've had some slippery criminals get away because we didn't know who they were. So we need to fix that.
So if you go to the top of each of the columns, the capital money is what would be produced from the near cash financing. That's essentially what that $100,000 loan will turn into each and every year, changes every year, because based on debt retired. Bold is obviously a $10,000 Blackwater Lake District contribution annually. Carl has his SIF, which is System Improvement Fund, which is basically money from the utility that helps pay capital projects. And then general property tax results in $37,500 of capital. So a minimal investment from taxpayer dollars. The rest is what we've generated from other sources. What's available is what's left after we have our list here. We don't ever want to run it dry. Do note that there is also a future projects capital reserve, which we have put, Carl put on year 2021, the senior center question mark, because that money could be allocated for that if we so choose. And
Yeah.
I'll talk further to that later on in the meeting.
The numbers in red later aren't negative. I don't know where that symbol came from. I was quite busy putting this together and a bunch of other stuff. So those are all positive numbers on the available. And as you can see through the years, by 2025, we'll have really made some serious improvements to this town and our parks and our streets, our utility. And, you know, maybe senior center, maybe, you know, maybe we're setting ourselves up for completing a really beautiful downtown, all concrete, you know, building to building, lighting.
I guess the biggest message on Carl's report is the takeaway from this little introductory is this committee should be involved in the 5-year capital purchase and project planning process by reviewing these projects continuously, offering their goals and vision for the future as well. So we're always looking for your input. If there's a project that we might not have listed on here, that's where you need to let us know your thoughts, or if some constituents or citizens have said something, please keep us informed. There are bigger and better plans, you know. What we're planning on also going into the bypass and then the revitalization of the current Main Street would be to work along with Peter and the Civic and try to really dive into those parks and really build them out. It's just, it might be a couple years out. So this is all pre-bypass, and this, you know, a lot of the stuff that we're looking with the parks and the planning is post-bypass, and hopefully the MLS grant comes to fruition. I also have more updates on that in my report later on also.
Looking at 2021, the Warner Street resurface, is that a cost share or is that accessible to the schools, or do they know?
It can be fully accessible except for the intersections. Do we want to do that to the school district?
I don't know.
We might do, I'm not telling you what to do, but we
No,
might
I
do
guess
a
I'm just looking
50-50.
at, their fiscal year runs differently than the
Yeah,
calendar year.
yeah, so we've already been talking to them a little bit about it.
Good.
I mean, we can't, I'm not sticking to them, but I'm thinking 50-50. Regardless, we have to come up with the money up front.
Okay.
So this plan, again, we'd probably take out a quick 2-year note for that because we've got the revenue for it, much less the assessments that would come back. So if there's ever a better time to do Warner Street, again, that's a big project. And we're gonna also look at concrete, so those numbers could fluctuate.
Yeah, just their fiscal year, I think is like, what, July to
Yeah,
June
yeah.
30th, and then
We'd
they're.
have to give them a heads up here pretty quick.
Yeah,
So, again, we're not voting on it, it's a 2021 project, but I think we're gonna want David to start talking with them and maybe give him some kind of direction that 50-50 is all right.
They are aware.
Yeah.
And this is all pushed by that old water main that was put in the 40s.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, on Warner Street?
Oh, excuse me.
No, this is, the Oak Street project's a whole different
Oak
project.
Street, yeah.
So we might have the road swap around the school, on both sides of the school that year.
Yeah.
Because we got the 300 block of Oak Street. We want to do the water, sewer, and stormwater through there. Just a 300 block from Carl Mann's up to the corner here, so, or whatever.
So basically, this is an informational thing that we are going to.
It's
be
a
working
tool,
on.
information,
Yeah.
Changing as things pop up, it has to be.
None of this really matters until you see it in the budget and you vote on the budget, so. Well, it matters, but just because I have it on 22 doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna happen. All right, that's all I got for review.
Number 5, discussion on fluoride in the distribution system.
I'm not looking at doing anything tonight, but if you look at my memo, my little notes there, I've got some bullet points. The reason behind this is, we've been talking about the idea of getting away from adding fluoride to our distribution system. Not for any one single reason, but just, you know, it's corrosive to the well house and everything like that. And we're getting ready to, we're gonna be doing a well house upgrade at well number 2. So, I took Dan through the well house. You could verify that. It's just very corrosive in nature in the air. It turns everything to hooey. But we're gonna replace the well house in a couple of years. Should be a relatively, it's not in here, it'd be a CEF project, utility project, but, it would be cheaper if we weren't adding fluoride at the time. Of course, if you go on the internet and you look, just type in fluoride, you're gonna see all kinds of weird stuff. But again, I don't wanna get into the benefits of fluoride or debate the benefits of fluoride. It's certainly, proven beyond a doubt that it is good for, you know, growing teeth, but, my main concern is, you know, construction of a new well house, if we can just eliminate fluoride. The DNR doesn't take a position on it. But again, my main concern is, fluoride is, the suppliers of fluoride are now sourcing it out of China. And, it's an industrial byproduct, you know. And, we've seen, the quality of stuff that can come out of there. And I'm just, me myself, I don't want to drink anything that has an industrial byproduct from China in it.
So the DNR doesn't have any take on it, but does any other government entity have, I mean, you've got CDC recommendation, but what about,
Well, if you look
Like
further
HHS.
down, I think there are 11 other communities in the county, this county, Allegheny, that do not add fluoride to their drinking water.
all right, so we're not required by any.
No, you're
entity
not
to
under
have it.
mandate
Okay,
to do
Yeah,
it.
some of them are removing it now,
okay.
so.
Mhm.
There's also a natural fluoridation in the water here.
You know,
There's a level of fluoridation in the water here also.
Want to go to?
and we're not gonna save a ton of money by doing it, we would just avoid, you know, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in construction costs and, you know, probably $3,000 a year in direct costs attributed to fluoride. Again, my main concern is a chemical coming out of China. You know, it could have heavy, I'm not, you know, who knows what might have in it besides fluoride.
The only thought I have is that
It's gonna be a touchy subject.
it is gonna be touchy, but I'm asked every time I take my kids to the doctor, do you have fluorinated water? So that would be something, if we do take it out and we're not gonna put it in anymore, we need to make sure citizens know that. Because
Yeah.
it's assumed that if you live in, and you don't have well water, that you do have fluoride.
Yeah, I'd kinda want some public input, because I don't want it to just be me that says
Yeah.
or decides it. I'm sure Dennis and people in that field would prefer it stayed in there, but, you know, keep being human nature being what it is. If I'm selling you a product for $10 and I'm paying $5 because it's coming from Minnesota, if I can get it for $2 from China,
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy the $2 stuff and sell it to you for $10.
We just need to make sure we're notified, so that, like,
Yeah.
if I'm asked that same question, I say no.
This
we don't
is,
have-
this is months and months out yet.
Okay.
But I do want you to start asking around or
Okay.
looking into it yourself, because this isn't, we all need to kind of agree on this, so. A lot of other municipalities are, like I said, are starting to go down the path of getting rid of it. There's enough of it in your toothpaste and your rinses. That's all I have, that's just informational for now. Just be prepared for the fallout if it goes that way.
Okay, we go to number 6, street light request, 323 East Main Street.
I'll take that one as well. On the second page of my handout, you'll see this. We had a complaint about nighttime visibility and safety of those turning into the shopping center after dark. It is pretty dark there, especially when everything's lit up over here. It's hard to tell if somebody's stopping or not. You got headlights coming at you, so a placement of a new pole in the south right of way would require an easement from the DOT, but We Energy said it was doable. As you can see, that map here is a lighting map. So we can put that pole over there. There's a electrical box, distribution box over there on the south side by Bob Harvey's tire shop. Anyways, that's the closest we can get to that intersection. I don't know if Chris has had a chance to look at it, but there's not a lot of options there because of the width of the road. So I think that would be suitable. Public Works could probably, even though it's not budgeted, Public Works could probably swing it this year. We just need to give them a heads up and let them get it in the pipeline, so. Again, I'm gonna be looking for requests for approval unless anybody has any reasons we shouldn't do it.
And that is also in the village board
Yeah.
agenda, so we can take action in the village board.
I just noticed below that, there's some regulations regarding fluoride in my memo too, so.
Is that gonna be enough light from across the street there? Is that gonna shine enough? I mean,
Well, no, the pole would be in the right of way, but we'd take the power from that green distribution box on the
Yeah.
south side. The pole on the north side, which would be ideal, is, already has 2 3-phase powers coming down it, and they won't put a light standard on there.
I think as long as even the road area is lit up right
Something.
there.
I think this will be
it'll-
all right.
It'll open way more visibility.
If you
It
look at
needs
the lighting,
something there.
again, they call that something, what do they
Because it
call
is awful.
Lighting metric or lighting,
Keep in mind with the rebuild coming, looming post bypass, it would go all the way out to Greendale. I mean, it's gonna be streetscaped all the way in, curb and gutter all the way in, so that's the proposition anyway. So this is a Band-Aid, but it's a much needed Band-Aid.
Any other questions?
Is the cost because of the materials or,
no, that's pretty much going right for one pole.
the reason I'm asking is, so let's say in 2 years, we're gonna pull this pole.
It is what it is,
Could we use it elsewhere?
it's a wooden pole.
It's a wooden pole, but it's still a wooden pole.
When it comes time to streetscaping, you're gonna have decorative pole lighting.
The pole belongs to We Energies,
Yeah. You're
it's not
probably-
our pole. But this
It's
is what
We
it costs
Energy,
to
it's
put
not
it in.
ours, it's theirs, okay.
If we were buying a non-standard, architectural pole,
Then
then
it'd be
yeah.
ours, okay.
But,
Like we could use it in a park, so,
Yeah, pull the ones through Greenville or fiberglass.
yeah.
so yeah, we'll be looking for approval on the regular board.
Okay.
All right, we will now move to number 8, motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
We have to read,
You have to read the
Don't we?
whole thing. You gotta read the whole thing.
you read the whole thing.
Say that again.
You have to read the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, I guess I do. Make a motion to go into closed session under state statute 19.85, paragraph 1, paragraph C.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 I
Aye.
Aye.